Alrighty, y'all. How you going? We're looking at the subreddit Mildly Interesting, Australia edition. This map has 2 Australias. No Tasmanias and no New Zealand. What is going on with this map? Here's the Americas. Here is Africa, Europe, Asia. And then right underneath, did you know this? Right underneath India, as you can see here, we have Australia number 1. Then over here in Southeast Asia, we have, all these islands. And then actually it looks to be like Papua New Guinea and surrounding area looks a little weird. And then we have Australia number 2. Who knew there was 2 Australias this whole freaking time? You got to comment down below. Which Australia are you from? Have I not even discovered one of these? And why is Tasmania gone? And New Zealand was just a myth the whole time. I'm sorry. That is just so funny. I don't know if this is from like a cafe, a restaurant, a museum. God, I hope it's not a museum, right? I mean, the letters, look at the letters. Like, they're all kind of like weird looking. They don't even match. You learn something new every day. Confirmed, this is a Korean buffet chain in Saigon. By the way, they're also missing Greenland, Iceland, Ireland, Madagascar. Caribbeans are looking pretty empty. Yeah, this is just a very incomplete map. Although I have to say, the nice lighting, the ambient lighting behind the continents looks cool. Gotta give them something here. In Australia, we have chocolate frogs with popping candy and hundreds and thousands of them. And yes, these are Freddos. Believe it or not, my kids absolutely love Freddos. I think we've shown them on camera eating these. Graciously gotten plenty of these in mail time, of course, so I always can't thank you guys enough. Although, I will say, and forgive me if we've gotten a lot of stuff. Sometimes I lose track, okay, that we have had these 2, the popping candy and the milk chocolate, but I don't think we've ever gotten hundreds and thousands. If we have, then the kids probably ate them, but I didn't get to try them. I don't remember ever personally trying hundreds and thousands Freddos. But you know what? That sounds really intriguing. I like the packaging, and I think that would be pretty yummy. I mean, who doesn't like hundreds and thousands? All right, you ready for this one? This one's pretty weird. This is not what you think it is. This big specimen of what looks to be a rock here really isn't a rock. It's a fatberg. You know what a fatberg is? I'll tell you in a second. On display at the Science Works Museum in Melbourne, Australia, still biologically active. So what the hell is this, right? I mean, it looks weird. It looks like an old rock. No idea what a fatberg is, but it is a nice rock. A nice old rock made of fat, oil, wet wipes, and quote-unquote other, oh God, what's other, material that accumulates and blocks sewerage systems. That is mildly interesting for sure. Someone further adds that these these on a smaller level are what's in your arteries after you eat McDonald's. I don't know about that. I hope not. I wouldn't know, thankfully. But I tell you what, I'm not going to zoom in on that, knowing what it is now. But there you go. If you're ever curious what it looks like down in the clogged sewers, there you go. I guess you just never know what you're going to find at random exhibits in Melbourne. Now, you have to use your imagination here, but I give them credit. It's kind of cool. Someone found a rock this is a real rock, by the way. No sewer systems here. This is a real rock. And they said it reminded them of Australia, and I can see it. It's got the same kind of look over here. You got that rise and then the little dip over here, and then you have that northern Queensland point up here. And then you have the East Coast. The East Coast, it's got a little bit of exaggeration going on out here, but it's close enough. And then it wraps around down here, and then has that dip up and then back down. I mean, I can see it. It's kind of got that Australia shape. I'll give them that. Of course, it's another map without Tasmania. They should have put a little rock right here. That would have been perfect. But hey, I'm nitpicking here. Honestly, finding a rock that would look like a continent, pretty cool, actually. And of course, nothing to see here. Just a pantry in Australia, your typical pantry down under. Just check your Campbell's every now and then. Make sure before you grab it to make some dinner, you know what you're working with. Now, if you ever doubted that the heat in Australia is real, I mean, they got crazy sunlight, crazy UV levels, And we've all seen the maps where the whole continent is hot while the rest of the world is like varied, right? Yeah, Australia is a hot place, especially in the summer. Well, Western Australia can get really, really hot. That's what I've always heard. I think this is proof. Look at this glove that was stuck to the window. You heard that right. Stuck to the window. They pulled it off. As you can see, it left part of the glove melted to the window. This thing was stuck and melted to the window. That's how freaking hot it was. If that doesn't sum up the wicked heat in Australia, I don't know what does. This is really interesting. I don't think it's mildly interesting. I think it's really interesting. So trolley gummy worms are very popular, very iconic packaging. They're a kid favorite, right? If you want a snack, a gummy snack. And they do have them in Australia and the USA. What's interesting is I never noticed this change till now. So here we go. In this picture, we have the USA trolley gummy worms on the left. And then we have the Australian trolley gummy worms on the right. Now, you'll notice a couple things. The colors are super bright, like radioactive bright, on the American ones, and they're a little more subtle or natural looking on the Australian ones. I don't have the packages in front of me. I'm going to guess that the coloring is probably more natural-based coloring on the Aussie ones, which is awesome because that's healthier. And I'm guessing they use some dye like Red 40 and other BS that's bad for you in the American ones. Like I said, that's just me assuming. I don't know if that's true, but you can kind of see a color difference. I mean, come on. But disregarding that, these are really tasty. I used to love these a lot. The big difference is you'll notice the Australian ones are maybe a tad bit bigger, but really the main difference is you'll notice it's a checker pattern. You have red, blue, red, blue. You have red, yellow, red, yellow. And over here it's just split like 50-50, red and blue, red and yellow, and so on. And the weird thing is I never noticed they changed that, but it looks accurate now that I see it. When I was a kid, even the American ones, that's right, so these on the left, the USA ones when I was a kid looked like these. It was red, blue, that pattern over there. Somewhere along the line, they changed it. I'm very sure that's true. If not, then I don't know if that's Mandela effect or what. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to see the difference between these two. I would like to try the Aussie trolley ones because they might be better. Like I said, I'm just assuming that, but they look cool because of that pattern, and I like how they look a little more natural looking. The radioactive yellow and blue here on the American ones. Ooh, right? Looks more like a toy than food. I believe I've seen this once before, but there are still, what used to be called payphones, right? These are pretty much beyond extinct here in the U.S. I haven't seen one of these in probably over a decade. And these are still a thing in Australia. Probably not super common, but they're there. And they're pink and silver like this. I remember seeing this in another post a long, long time ago. And what's interesting is they're not payphones anymore. They're just, I don't know what you'd call these, because they're free. Look at this. Payphone calls are now free for everyone to anywhere in Australia. That's really cool. I think that's really helpful. These could really help someone out if they're in a bind, right? Then maybe they lost their cell phone. Maybe their cell phone died. Has no charge left, and they have nowhere to charge it. I think this is a really cool concept still. Good on them for making this free. I think that's awesome. Well, if you didn't know, I had a pretty viral video from a couple years ago. That's how crazy that sounds. Wow. About Starbucks going to Australia and trying to commit to doing business down there. And they did not have a good time. I believe they still exist to a minuscule amount in Australia, but they're not famous like they are here. For some reason, they do really well in the States. Not really sure why. And they kind of flopped hard in Australia. Well, maybe Starbucks felt sour about that because this was spotted at a Starbucks, supposedly in the U.S., and this interior decoration map in this Starbucks totally omits Australia and New Zealand. I mean, we're talking about they got rid of a whole continent here. So, I mean, look, we got the Americas, we got Europe, Asia, Africa, we even got Hawaii, but they just have like some weird Loch Ness monster down here and the sun, and no Australia to be seen. Starbucks, are you hurt? Are you feeling sour about this? Now, this is interesting. This says some Woolies down in Australia now have cup holders built in the carts. I think that's actually kind of cool. I don't think I've ever seen any of our stores with carts, the shopping carts, have cup holders. I will say there's a store called Woodman's locally in Illinois and Wisconsin area, and they do have pretty cool, I probably can't find a picture of it, but they have like phone holders. So it's like these pegs, and you can like, they're spring actuated, so you can pull them apart, put your phone in there, and then they'll close back up and firmly hold your phone and use it while you're shopping or you look at your list or whatever. I think that's kind of cool, but I don't think I've ever seen a cup holder, which seems crazy because you'd think that would be useful, right? You would think it would be more common, I guess is what I meant to say. So, hey, Woolies, good on you. These are really stretching, guys. This post says, my boyfriend spilled beer on himself and informed Australia, Tasmania, and New Zealand. Here's a closer look. I mean, kind of, right? Again, we kind of got that Australia shape. I got to admit it. And we even have Tasmania, and New Zealand looks pretty legit. If it was just maybe a little bit up here, it'd be perfect. I mean, bravo. That is the way to spill right there. We'll call it spilling in style. You know what's cool is Halloween, right? For the kids, they get their candy haul, right? And it's kind of cool, but it's also like a nightmare because it's like, oh my God, who needs to give their kids all this candy? This is more of a lolly haul. That's right. Come on, we're in Australia. And this is what a candy haul or a lolly haul would look like down under. So it's kind of cool to see. Just because I've seen this so many times here in the U.S. growing up, right? Looks similar, but totally different because it's all Australian candy. I just thought this was kind of cool. I mean, we got picnic bars, we got Crunchies, Freddos, different looking Skittles, because, I mean, even the products we have in America down under are just a little different, right? Mars bars, which are different than ours. Kinder products. Look at that. Ooh, Lindor truffles, those are good. We definitely have those. Maltesers. Now, see, I've never got a Maltesers back in the day. I would have been happy to have those because those are the bomb. So yeah, Halloween might not be nearly as big in Australia as it is here in the U.S., but when there is Halloween in Australia, there's a candy haul. Looks pretty good. Now, here's something I'd like to see as an American. This is supposedly a United States of America section of their local supermarket in Australia. So let's see. First of all, Milano chocolates, these are American? Wow, I actually didn't know that. I guess it makes sense. I think these are like American chocolates that are supposed to be like imitating European chocolate or something. I don't know, but that's funny to see that there. I wouldn't have expected that. But I would expect to see, ho-hos, Twinkies, ding-dongs. That is very American for sure. Weird candies like Mike and Ike's. I don't even eat those. I never have. Hot tamales, Swedish fish. Big League Chew. Now that stuff's good. Of course, you have Jolly Ranchers, Tootsie Rolls, Butterfingers. It is cool that you can get this stuff down under. I mean, it's not stuff you have often, and trying international candy, of course, and especially chocolate, is usually always better in my experience. But, we have a couple gems. For example, Reese's. Reese's is really good. You can't deny that. Even have Pop-Tarts up here, Louisiana hot sauce. Wow, kind of cool. Bottle caps. You can even get Nerds Rainbows and bottle caps and Nerds Ropes in Australia if you look in the right places. I mean, if you're going to have some junk food, you got some classics here. This is Banksia tree bark, Northwest Tasmania, Australia. Look at that. That is crazy looking, right? Wow, very unique. I don't think I've ever seen a tree quite like that. Pretty sure most of you already knew this, but if you forgot, this is a list of the 25 most venomous snakes in the world. 21 of them. That's right, 21 of 25 are from Australia. I mean, for Pete's sakes, the top 3 are definitely Australian. I've heard so many times and seen videos on. We're talking, of course, about the inland taipan being number 1, the eastern brown being number 2, and the coastal taipan being number 3. Definitely Aussies. If you wanted to pause and look at this, the red text are snakes that are found in Australia, and the black text are snakes that aren't found in Australia. As you can see, it's a sea of red here. The only ones not found in Australia, Indian cobra, black mambas, king cobra, and an eastern diamondback. That's it. By the way, remember I gave you the warning earlier when you're going in your pantry, Australia, just watch the Campbells. Remember, someone might be living there. And, of course, I've had spiders in my mailbox here in the U.S. Of course, they're tiny, tiny little guys, right? They're annoying. You just want to get your mail. You don't want to mess with them. Of course, it's a different story in Australia, so watch your mailbox. This is a huge salt mine in Australia. I mean, look at that. These look like mesas or like small mountains, right? And no, that is literally a salt mine. Very interesting to see. I mean, you have big machinery somewhere, right? I wish we had like a dump truck for reference, but because I'm pretty sure these are bigger than even look on camera. But pretty interesting looking at that. Like, wow. When you go to the drive-thru in Australia, it's very unique. This is what I love about Australia, right? It's got such a unique identity, fun way of doing things. Even KFC, good old Kentucky Fried Chicken, is different in Australia. This is what it says. You got your clearance thing in meters, of course. It's a little different, but I'm used to the clearance, the bar, right? But I've never seen this at my KFC. Come on through, mate. Colonel Sanders got the Aussie slang and everything. Gotta love it. But hey, that's about it for this one, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. I had fun. That was a fun episode. And those are mildly interesting things in Australia. I do hope you enjoyed this, and leave me your thoughts, your comments, and suggestions down below. As always, y'all, please throw a like on there if you enjoyed, and subscribe to be part of this amazing community. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker, and until next time, y'all, I'll catch you later.